welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. Gemma here. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the fear of being stuck. So the fear of being stuck is essentially what it says on the tin. The fear of being stuck is fear of being stuck with OCD and anxiety forever. Now, this is a very understandable fear because OCD and anxiety suffering is not pleasant. It's not something that we want to be stuck with, and I know people that probably think that when you're doing a lot better with it, it's, you know, easy for you to say because you're not currently stuck with it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I would want to be stuck with it or that anyone would want to be stuck with it. It's not a case of, you know, acceptance is an agreement. It's not that if I was told now, well, actually, you're now going to be dealing with OCD suffering for the rest of your life and you're going to get no respite and it's just going to be 24/7 how it used to be forever. I think I would struggle with that. I would really struggle with that. And I've come to terms with the fact that I can live like that, absolutely. Like, you know, if I have no other option, if that is my lot, if that is what's going to happen, then I would have no option but to deal with that. Even in the midst of my extreme suffering where, you know, I was basically catatonic on the sofa all the time, I still had moments that I enjoyed. Yes, they were far and few between, but in fact, I'll share one of my favourite moments from that time. So not a moment in general, but just something that I was enjoying at that time. And that is when this is when I was struggling really badly with the health OCD, and I would be laid on the sofa pretty much all the time because I kept thinking, like, if I move too much, I'm going to have a brain aneurysm or a heart attack, or just moving felt hard. I wasn't eating salts, like I wasn't eating most foods because of the salt content, and, you know, I thought that would do something to my heart. I was just very conscious that I just felt like I was going to die at all times. And I remember most nights I would take like a sedative medication to like calm myself down, and my daughter she'd come and sit on the sofa with me and we would play Roblox. It was totally a compulsion. Like, I'm not saying this is a good thing, but it was totally a compulsion because it was like gaming was really distracting me. But I remember even in those moments, like, yes, I was really struggling, and even whilst I was playing the game, like, the thoughts were just pounding away, but it was like a little bit of a almost respite from it, where, you know, I would feel a little bit calmer because of the medication that I was taking. I would have my daughter with me, which always made me feel better because I felt like, you know, if she's with me, then I can protect her, and because I had a lot of fear at the time about her being away from me because I thought something was going to happen to her. So I had some relief when she was with me, and then also when we were doing something together, because I thought, you know, this obviously isn't the best thing, the best time to be spending with your child. Like, you know, it would be nice to do something else, but at that time everything else felt impossible. It wasn't, it was me not doing it, but it felt impossible at that time. So that was us kind of spending time together, and I would feel a little bit distracted, like not massively. It was still there a lot in the background, but I would find little moments where I would kind of get into a game and we would start laughing about something, and, you know, even if it was just for like 20 seconds, the thoughts would kind of go out of my head, and I felt like a little bit of relief. And, you know, so even in those times where I was really suffering, really not being able to do much at all, and just feeling bad all the time, 24/7, there was still the odd little moment that I would enjoy. When I would go around to my mum's house, I was staying there at one time because I didn't feel capable of being alone, because I kept thinking that I was going to die in my sleep and then my daughter would be the one to find me. So I would want to stay at my mum's because I thought, well, at least then an adult will find me. Obviously that wouldn't be pleasant for her either, but it felt better than my daughter finding me and then having to kind of call people, and just feeling really bad in that situation. So but then, like, sometimes I would, you know, go and stay at my mum's house and we'd watch a show, and, you know, sometimes we would have a conversation where I wouldn't think about it for a minute. And that's not to say that this is what we aspire to, you know. Obviously I wanted more out of life than that, and everyone that is suffering with OCD wants more out of life than that, but that is when I was really at my absolute worst, where I didn't feel like I could do anything at all, but I was still finding moments of joy and moments where things just didn't feel quite as bad. So I know now that, yes, well, I would never want to experience that again. Of course I wouldn't. I can handle it if it does happen. Preferable not to, but not the end of the world. And that's the stage we need to get to. And that's the reason it probably won't come on to that level again. Now, I'm not saying never, because absolutely could. It could strike me down tomorrow. But I know I won't react in the same way, because I know that by reacting in that way, by giving into compulsive behaviours, by avoiding everything, I'm just making it worse. So I would immediately push myself to continue with my day as normal. And once OCD knows that you're not going to give it that attention, you're not going to let it change your life, you're not going to let it impact you to that point, it's just not going to fire off as much. It's fear signals in your brain telling you that you're scared, but it's only doing that because you're acting like someone who is scared. If you're not acting scared, then OCD doesn't feel the need to keep chiming in and trying to protect you and telling you you're scared. So a fear of being stuck is completely understandable, but also something that we really, really have to act against. Of course, looking at our beliefs as well is massive in that respect, but behaving like you're not scared of being stuck by doing absolutely everything that you would be doing if you weren't stuck is so important, because you're not going, even with belief work, you're not going to get out of that stage if you're still avoiding anything. It has to all come hand in hand. You have to be working on those beliefs, work on why being stuck wouldn't be the worst thing in the whole world. Yes, very uncomfortable, and I know it would be. I 100% think that if that were to happen now, I would be super uncomfortable, but I know that I would handle it. And so working on your belief, but also showing that you believe that you could handle it. If you work on your belief, but your actions say, well, actually, I can't handle it, it's just not going to work. It has to all come hand in hand. It's super important for the fear of being stuck. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've got any ideas of topics you want me to cover, just pop a comment below, and have a great day.